Here was a much awaited 10-day trip to Norway, beginning with Oslo. My friend Swaminathan and his wife joined my daughter and me at Oslo. We were all eager to capture everything we could about this beautiful place. We had a short time before our start of the tour next day, which we used to see around Oslo. Crossing the lanes of Oslo, one of the most captivating parts of the Norwegian capital is the Vigeland Sculpture Park, the largest of its kind in the world, where the artistic concepts of timelessness, human morphology, and philosophy take fusion in the oxidized bronze human figureness that dot the landscape. Ironically, the park lends itself to breathtaking beauty, even if you ignore the statues, and the casual visitor who does not know the themes behind them is rewarded by neatly manicured lawns, idyllic waterways, and florally bedded waterways. The sculpture park is Gustav Vigeland's life work, comprising over 200 sculptures in granite, bronze, and wrought iron. It was installed mainly in the period 1940 to 49, but is nevertheless a result of over 40 years of work. The flowing water. In 1924, the City Council agreed that the sculpture's monumental fountain was to be erected in Fogner Park. At that time, Vigeland's park project had expanded to include the monolith and the bridge. The bridge's 58 bronze sculptures show a rich variety of children, women, and men of different ages. Vigeland modeled these sculptures in the period 1925 to 33, and they were some of the first sculptures that were mounted in the park. Beyond the bridge, the path continues through a rose garden to the fountain, the earliest sculpture unit in the park. In the center of the basin, 6 giants hold the large saucer-shaped vessel aloft, and from it a curtain of water spills down around them. The men, representing different ages, may be interpreted as toiling with the burden of life. Water, a universal symbol of fertility, is used within the fountain complex in a meaningful juxtaposition with the 23 groups on the surrounding parapet, the latter evidently symbolizing the tree of life. The tree groups represent a romantic expression of man's relation to the nature. They also form the settings for life's evolving stages stretching from childhood and adolescence through adulthood to old age and death. It can measure 17 meters above ground. The sculpture is carved out of one stone block, hence the name. The sculpture depicts 121 human figures clinging and floating together. There is women and men of different ages, and the top of the monolith is crowned with children. The sculpture has been interpreted as a kind of vision of resurrection and our longing and striving for spirituality. As I moved on, I could hear someone playing a music right behind. Next, we were on way to visit the Akershus Castle or fortress. It's a medieval castle believed to be built around 1290s by King Haakon V. If you look across the Norwegian Sea from the city, from the ramparts of the Arkesis castle, the sprawling vision of the city merging into calmness of its waters is stunning. It's difficult to imagine the invading Nordic tribes of yore, and the ghastly cries of the prisoners from the castle echo across this vast canvas of nature. And I'm not sure if that shiver that runs down my spine was the cold biting wind across the Arctic or just tales of blood and war. It has come under multiple attacks by foreign invaders, mainly from the Sweden, even from the Danish attackers, with the Scottish army, and finally it was even under the hands of the German Nazi rule. It also has a prison with a section of it known as the slavery, because the prisoners could be rented out for work in the city. It has housed many rebels and criminals through Norwegian history. Figuring out how to pay the parking fee. Perhaps an unknown area called Tulin in the center of Oslo, noticed for its IT cafes, bars, and architecture. My dear friend really was happy to be there. Tulilokka street lights. We walked back to where we had parked our car, something that looked like an university or a government office. And at distance we could see two trams crossing over. The Norsk Fort Museum at Bygdøy, Oslo, Norway, is a museum of cultural history with extensive collections of artifacts from all social groups and all regions of the country. It incorporates a large open-air museum with more than 150 buildings relocated from towns and rural districts. As we had arrived late, we had very little time to see only a part of the museum. Royal Palace is the residence of the royal family. It is usually open to the public in summer months. Some of the buildings nearby attracted our attention with the artistic works on them. Finally, we also made a visit to the harbor. The floating stainless steel and glass sculpture named Schieleis was designed and created by Italian artist Monica Bonvincini. It is based on Caspar David Friedrich's painting Das Izmir, The Sea of Ice. The city's most striking architectural masterpiece is hands down the Oslo Opera House. This iceberg reminiscent building made of white marble opened in 2008 with a stunning design by Norwegian National Opera and Ballet. Back to our hotel, the Radisson Red. As we approached, we could see the sun setting with a display of colors. At our car, our companion for the next 10 days. We walked into our apartment, waiting eagerly for the coming days.